What is up, Hometown Hippies? It is Tammy coming to you live for It's 420 Somewhere, and it is actually 4:29 somewhere because I'm about 9 minutes late coming live today, but that's okay. Hey, babe, let's see, somebody's home a little early today. So it is 4:29 somewhere, and as you can see, I have smoked them because I had them. And it has been a very interesting day today. I've gotten lots of things done, but it's one of those days where I had a catering order ready to do, and I had to do it twice. I have not had to do something twice in a minute, but I guess my mess up is somebody else's joy because there's an entire pound cake in there. Red's like,
your husband is going to love
because it crumbled, and so I had to redo that pound cake. It's dosed. It's delicious though. I've already had a piece of it. Yeah, that is the Sid's special pound cake. So again, say hi as you jump on here. Yeah, that's the seven flavor pound cake. It looked beautiful. I went to glaze it and pull it out of the pan, and it crumbled. It was just, I don't know. It tastes divine, but I needed to let it cool a little bit longer. It's one of those ones you have to let it cool completely in the pan before you remove it. It was still too warm, so it did not turn out the way I wanted it to look. So therefore, hello, it's 4:20 somewhere. It's 4:31 somewhere right now, but I did have to make that again. And I did have a piece of that just to see the flavor of it, because I have not had a piece of it since the first time I made it. So I wanted to check it. It's delicious. It just did not look the way that I wanted it to look. So therefore, I had to redo it. And that's part of it, right? Because if you're going to pay for an elevated eating experience, you're definitely going to get the look as well as the taste. So that had to be redone. So that's why I'm a little late coming live today. I've also started working with the podcasting stuff, ordered my podcasting equipment, and already registered the podcast. So that is, yes, Puff Puff Pass has been fun. I'm hoping y'all keep that going. I will do that tonight. I have a timer set to do it. So it'll be at a certain time this evening when the alarm goes off that I will comment pass on that. So keep playing. Let's see how many comments we can get on that. I'd like to see, last time we had over 1,000. Facebook has been hiding. My aunt had a saying, nothing wrong with that cake, just needs eating. That cake in there is divine, right? But it does not look pretty. And if somebody's spending $100 on a cake, then it's going to look as good as it's going to taste from me. That's just how I'm going to roll. And, it's interesting because when I went into today, I was like, I think I might make 2 of these pound cakes. I was going to make one that was dosed and one that was undosed. And I was going to keep half of the undosed cake for us to have. And I was going to give them the other half as a gift to take on vacation so they could have that pound cake that they love. It's their grandmother's recipe to munch on after they get the munchies from the cake. And whenever the first one messed up, I'm like, good thing I didn't do I would have had too much pound cake. So this is the second one's in the oven. Y'all, I'm telling you, if you want to come on by, it's dosed and it's big. I'm gonna have to freeze it, I guess. I'm also gonna give the person who first introduced me to it, I'm gonna give him a couple pieces of it tomorrow. I'm gonna send some by to him and his mom. Hey, Gracie Poo. So I do have this dosed pound cake that does not look good, but man, it tastes good. And I ate a piece of it, and it's creeping up. It just started creeping up behind my eyes. I'm like, ooh, my plan was not to be I was super stoned last night coming to y'all, but I wanted to be normal today. We wanted to talk about some stuff today. So, like I said, I have posted the link in here for the podcast, and it's called How the Cookie Crumbles, and it is on Spotify, and it is going to be basically, if you'd like to be a guest, you can be a guest on my podcast. We're going to eat a cookie. We're going to eat a 420 cookie. And then we're going to talk about whatever comes up once the cookie crumbles, right? We are going to talk about plant-based medicine. We are going to, taste is most important to me. That meditation last night was wonderful. Yeah, and I talked to Carly today, and we actually, we actually, yes, come on, girl. We actually did her first podcast today after my session. She 1000% was just like, let's do it. I'm like, what? She's like, we're going to pull the Band-Aid off. I'm going to do my podcast. And she's like, here we go. And I'm like, what? And she started recording the Zoom and got the podcasting microphone out. And she and I just had a conversation. And she's like, it's good. We're not editing. We're just going to put it up. And she's like, then I'll come be on your podcast. I was like, okay. So I'm out there on Carly's podcast, Moonlight Alchemy, right now. And then she's going to be on mine. And I'd love to have y'all on mine. That is awesome. I would love to do that. I can like hook it up to my phone. I can hook up to my computer. I got like the headset, the microphone, and the mixing board. It's even got like voice effects and stuff. So we're going to do that. I'm going to be doing more podcasting. That was one of the next, like I told y'all with this growth stuff, what we're going to start doing is we're going to start measuring success. Hello, Melanie, not by the dollar signs, but by the difference we made. So Heather's birthday is today. So make sure y'all send her a happy birthday, but she must be on my mind. I mean, she must be thinking about me. But Melanie and Sarah were on the meditation last night. Sarah loved it. Melanie, what did you think? Gina, if you're still here, did you like the meditation last night? Carly agreed to record that meditation for me. And she will allow me to utilize that in our heart space meditation. That is the exact meditation that we need to do weekly to send that love out to those groups. And I'll take that end invocation and I'll add the people that we're adding to it as we breathe in that green light and exhale that energy. And then we'll be able to use that every week as kind of our guided meditation. We'll do that as our invocation. We'll start the night off with our guided meditation, right? Then we are going to move into maybe some oracle cards, some tarot. Maybe someone else has some channeled messages for the group. I know that Nancy and Heather were talking about pulling cards for us. I can do cards. I will pull in channeled messages. We'll have a message. I had my 22-year-old daughter, Courtney, join in. She was blown away with it. She loved it. I love that. Yay, 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 yay. We also welcomed a new lady to retreat. We have Rachel coming to retreat with us. So we've got one spot left now for retreat, for Woo Woo 101 retreat, which is in October. It's the 27th through the 30th in the Outer Banks. So at this time, we have one queen shared spot available. That's all we have left. We have a younger girl in that room already. She's amazing. She's like 21 years old. So she is in the other person for the shared queen. So if you are looking to get in on Woo Woo 101, make sure that you get that last spot. We will be opening up new dates for next year, but the only one we're doing this year is in October, and it has got one spot left, and it'll be sold out and full. So that is super exciting. We are moving into this like next stage, right? With the Grateful Fed community, we've gotten our forever piece of land. I know that we're going to bless thousands and millions of souls with that piece of property. We're going to feed people. We're going to feed their souls, feed their bodies, feed their minds, right? And this next part with like the podcasting and kind of growing the brand, right? Growing the brand is what we were talking about today in my session about how, I needed to set boundaries, right? Set boundaries that felt comfortable to me. And the reason that here's what I've realized, right? My lesson today was all about setting boundaries. And the problem that I have with setting boundaries is that I want to be of service at all times to all people, right? And because right now I'm in a place where I have opportunity and time, what Source is trying to teach me, right? What Source is trying to get through my head is that I need to set boundaries now, even if I have more ability, because I have to learn to set boundaries now so that when there's no option but to have them, I won't feel like an asshole. So I have to set boundaries now where they feel like everybody's used to these boundaries. So as things grow and get larger and I have no option but to set boundaries, people won't think that I am an asshole. And that's what it's time, right? So Sarah says, I'm learning to set some boundaries and not let people walk all over me and learn to say no. My guides keep telling me it's time. And I think that's a time for everybody, right? It's time for everybody to this is the thing, right? I feel like whenever we get to the place where we need to set boundaries, we are self aware enough to respect other people's boundaries that they set with us. Because just like you have boundaries, right? Just like I have boundaries, there are boundaries that you may have for me, right? Like I might say my office hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Please contact me during those times. And I've done this recently too, and it's hard but worth it. It is hard but worth it. Because here's what I'm going to tell y'all, right? When you tell someone you have a boundary, and you don't adhere to that boundary and you let them kind of cross that boundary, you don't set that limit and really like it, what's we're looking for, like you don't enforce that boundary. And it may be something silly, right? But when you do that, you teach people how to treat you. So even if it's a really important boundary that maybe it is a big deal, they don't believe you. They don't take you at your word because you have not enforced other small little. And so if you're thinking like those little boundaries, like time, like my office hours and things. And for me, it's like, well, I have availability. It's only 6:15. I should just do it. You know, like I like let that boundary go. Then it opens up the door, right? It opens up the door to me looking like a butthole on Sunday or Saturday or at 7 o'clock or at 9 o'clock. And so what I'm learning to do is I'm learning to say, unfortunately, no, I can't. And this is why. And then I'm finding, right, that whenever I set that boundary and I say those things out loud, that, you know, I'm kind of like getting myself more worked up than I need to be because people are honoring that because I made my boundaries known. So if you are struggling, this is coming in, if you are struggling with setting boundaries or like saying no, set the communication and set the boundary up front so that they are aware of it. Because a lot of times we do not adhere to our boundaries. We don't go for our boundaries because it's a boundary that we set and didn't make anybody aware of, especially for changing behaviors, right? So, for example, I'm going to use this as an example. Sarah, I'm just going to make this up, and if it's something real, I'm sorry. So she has a stepdaughter, right? And maybe Sydney is like, can I stay up 30 minutes? Can I stay up till 8:30 on Wednesday nights and watch the show? What is the cutoff time for the cart orders? It told me it was past cutoff time to pick up today, so I just know for future. So if you put an order in, it will definitely be ready within 48 hours. With carts and flowers, they'll be ready within business hours. If that's all you have, you can come get that same day. No issues. So don't stress over that. I couldn't set specific hours for specific things. So all of it says within tomorrow's kind of date. But if you need a cart, you can send that through and I can have that ready when you come by before 6 tonight. No big deal. But so for example, if she wants to stay up till like 9 o'clock and watch a show, and Sarah lets her, right? Sarah lets her because it's not a big deal. But, you know, the next night it's 9 o'clock. The next night it's 9 o'clock. The next night it's 9 o'clock because she pushed that boundary. Maybe Sarah just say, hey, your bedtime is 8 o'clock. We're aware of this, right? And then we're going to allow you a privilege on this one night. But if that boundary is set, right, and she makes it verbally known, then whenever you have that discussion, when it's time to enforce the boundary, if it's getting pushed, you could say, remember that conversation we had. And that's the way that I started setting boundaries. And it made it easier for me, right? So if Red and I had something that I had set a boundary for in my head that I didn't like, that wasn't working for me, I would say something to him like, hey, this is the issue I'm having. Can we make a compromise on it? I'm setting the boundary that this is no longer okay for me. I'm letting you know that. And then he was like, okay, I hear you. And then I said, well, that way the next time we have the conversation about maybe the thing that stepped over the line, I could say, hey, I told you about this. So if you are struggling with setting boundaries, what you might want to do is actually verbalize what those are. Because a lot of times we set these boundaries that are only like internal for us. Like we're like basically doing this mental, like, I dare you to cross the line. They don't even know what line they're crossing, right? That's funny. I did not know that at all. Like I had no idea, Sarah. Sorry. I'm open right now. I'm open right now. But I know that that's a big one. That was a big one for, um, bedtimes. Like that was a big boundary for Red and I as grown-ups because I am a night owl and he has to go to work early in the mornings. And so he asked me, he's like, and that's why y'all notice that my lives are a lot of times now during the day. I have not been live as much at night because Red asked me to set a boundary. He was having trouble with me being in the office every night. So when he told me that and spoke those words out loud, then I was able to adhere to those boundaries and work with him because he spoke them out loud. So a lot of times I think that we're afraid to tell people about things that we need them, like we need to work on to adjust to be able to have a healthy relationship. And I think that the word boundary even sounds very rigid. And I know that we have to have boundaries, and that's what's in my notebook, and I use that word as well. But I feel like a lot of times when we're going into like this enlightenment phase, that is something I've been working on, setting boundaries with my job. And here's what I'm going to tell y'all, right? Take the word boundary out of it if that makes it easier for you. This is coming in hard um, and hot and quick. So here's what I'm going to tell you. The boundary sounds like it's an ultimatum for some people, right? Like, if you don't do this, I'm going to do this. So if you are having areas in your life where you feel like there's an uneven exchange of energy, right? So Amanda says her job. So what she's probably feeling like is she's doing more than what she's getting paid to do. And she's going to learn to step back a little bit with her job and allow not to be taken advantage of, right? So what I'm going to say is this, right? Instead of using the word boundary, think of a more even compromise, like with the bedtime thing, right? Having a conversation with the child and saying, here's what we're doing, and this is what your bedtime is. This is why you need to get your sleep. I'm letting you know that we are compromising on your weekends or whatever. But having that conversation, right? So let's say instead of saying our boundaries, let's say like our compromise and our conversations, our agreements, and holding to those agreements. Because I feel like a lot of times we set these boundaries, we settle. But the person who we're like setting that boundary for is unaware of the reasons why we're setting the boundary. They don't understand where it's coming from. And, for me, I always say that I try to live by the four agreements to the best of my ability. And one of the things in the four agreements was being impeccable with your word. So to me, if I am going to want to change behavior or want an agreement, right? I want to come up to something where we can both be in flow, right? I want to be in flow with the situation. If I can't verbalize it, I need to be able to be impeccable with my word and say what needs to be said, right? And then allow them to say what they need to say. And then that goes to not taking anything personally, right? Like if you setting boundaries or setting agreements or coming to compromises or getting a better exchange of energy, a lot of it may be also, right, from being those four agreements kind of play into this, right? Number one, be impeccable with your word. Be clear about what you want. Use your words for good. Know why you're setting the boundary and understand where it's coming from, right? So be impeccable with your word. Be able to explain it, even to yourself. Number two, it was saying like, don't take anything personally. Like a lot of times we don't want to have these conversations about boundaries or agreements or compromises because we operate from a place of fear, right? We're afraid to be able to say it because we don't want them to be mad at us, and that's the people pleasing part of it, right? But if we can understand, right, that we are using our words for good, right? We're using our words for good. We are being impeccable with our words. We understand that nothing is taken personally, which means we mean nothing personally. It's nothing personal. This is just how I feel. It is not, don't take it to heart. I don't take what you have to say to heart. I'm not afraid to say what needs to be said because I know I'm operating from the place of the third thing, which is always doing my best. Right? I am always doing my best. So if I'm always doing my best, right, then let me grab those cards. And if I'm always doing my best, then what I have to say is nothing that I should be worried about saying, right? Nothing that I should be worried about saying because I'm always doing my best. I'm sure that I'm operating from a good space, right? So be impeccable with your word. We're going to just speak what needs to be spoken. We're going to do it in a kind way. We're going to be impeccable with it. We're also going to mean what we say. We're not going to tell lies. We're going to use our words for good. Don't take anything personally. Always do our best. But here's the most important one. Don't make assumptions. Most of the time when we're afraid to set boundaries and we're afraid to say the words, it's because we assume that person feels the exact opposite way that we do, and it's going to be confrontational. A lot of times boundaries or agreements or whatever aren't met because we just haven't talked about it. I will see you after work, by the way. Okay, perfect. So you know what I'm saying? Like we just don't even realize. We assume that the person disagrees with us. There have been so many times when Red and I are mad at one another. Like you can feel the energy. Like we're just not hitting on all cylinders, right? We just kind of feel that like me, right? And when we talk about what's going on, like we always kind of usually by the end of the night we've had we don't ever go to bed like that. We have a conversation and we talk. And a lot of times he and I, we're assuming the other person feels a kind of way about something and we end up laughing because we're walking around on eggshells based from the other one. We don't do it as much anymore because we communicate. But we were assuming the other person felt a certain way. And I was assuming he was feeling some way. He was assuming I felt some kind of way. We both felt the exact same way. But because we didn't take that moment to be impeccable, not take it personally, not assume, we were walking around in a state of flow like me, and we didn't need to be. So I don't know what's coming in today. It's coming in big that y'all need to know, right? You need to know that you were supported. And last night's meditation really kind of inspired me. It really inspired me to know that it made me feel really good that we're on the right track, right? One of the things that was super exciting was that we had I think we had over 10 people on our Zoom last night. So they had to leave Facebook, which is hallelujah, right? They had to log in, they had to get their camera ready. Hey, Kim, we had 10 people there who were all in flow, who were giving of their energy to send love and light out to the people who were asking for it. Some of the people there were the ones who were on the list, right? A lot of you were on the list, but you gave and you got, right? You reciprocated, and it's all about the power of one. And we started, and the meditation was just so perfect. It was like that. I mean, it was like that. You can't make it up. The angels, guides, and helpers were like talking to Carly, saying, "It starts with you." And I talk about you cannot pour from an empty cup. And the meditation started with breathing in that green light, right? And as we exhaled, it expanded and it started within ourselves. And then it went to the room we were sitting in, to our houses and our families, to our communities, to our neighborhoods, to our counties, to our states, to our country, to our world. And it showed that's how we do things, right? One breath. I can't send out enough energy to fill up the entire world, right? But as I keep building upon that breath and adding the Grateful Fed community in and everybody's green light. We had people in Kentucky, we had people in Ohio, we had people in Michigan, we had people in Missouri, we had people in Texas, we had people in Wisconsin, Virginia, Florida, Pennsylvania, we had people in California, we had people all over the country on that Zoom last night coming together for the common purpose of just sending out love and light. And we're going to continue to do that every week. Every single week, we're going to continue to do that because, we are about utilizing plants over pills. We are here because we believe in plant-based medicine. Hometown Hippie arose out of my need to have pain relief and anxiety and stress relief without depending upon big pharma and pills. I spent so many years in a spiraled, miserable state utilizing big pharma. They would go to the doctor. I didn't feel good. They give me a pill for that. That pill would make me feel a different way. They give me a pill to figure that out. I was on 13 different pills and medication. I moved back to my little hometown in 2019, the end of that year, right before pandemic. And in 2020, I was like, something's got to change. I don't have health insurance anymore. I am not going to take all of these medicines that just feel like they make me feel worse. I don't feel like they make me feel better. If they're not making me feel better, why am I going to continue to take them? There has to be a more natural remedy for it. I have ancestors, very close ancestors, who are full-blooded Indians, Native Americans. I have lots of friends who do with holistic and spiritual healing, and this started the journey. And for me, cannabis and CBD and all of its cannabis in all of its forms, I came to the realization that the endocannabinoid system, which is what connects the mind and the body, right? And we talked about during our Reiki class the other day about how when this modality of light energy first started, the Buddhist monks used it strictly for the spirit, right? Strictly for the mind. They only utilize this light energy in a meditative trance, is what we learned about. They sat in these temples and they saw it reflected, and they sat in these trances. And they looked at they did the attunements that way, just for that soul energy. And then someone else tried to use it just for the body. And what they realized was it's a combination of using the mind to heal the body. And endocannabinoid system does that as well. It connects that mind-body connection. It opens up the receptors. Cannabis has been used for ancient history. It's been used for all sorts of things. So that's how this arose, right? This is how this came to be. And for me, it's all falling into place, right? It's all falling into place because I sat down at the beginning of this whole journey and I said, I did a prayer. I asked God, I'm like, tell me, how do I align my love of feeding people in the very literal sense? My most favorite thing, the thing that touches my heart the most, is to watch people eat my food. Like, that is better than anything to me. Like, whenever I cook for you and you're like, holy mackerel, this is delicious. The bite, when Red does the happy dance, I love to feed people. I love people to walk up my house and go, oh my God, it smells so good in here. Girl, what are you cooking? That looks delicious. Oh my gosh, that filled me up. That tasted so good. That reminded me of this. That fills my cup. Right. And I was like, how can I take that feeling, right? And how can I take it to the world, and how can I make that my legacy? And this is what we're doing. And we're going to move into more than just our deliciously dosed treats, which we have some new ones coming up. I know you do. So I'm going to get, because when you show up for lives, you get to see things early. Next week, now these do not drop until next week, okay? I'm going to be honest. I was not going to show these till Monday or Sunday, but I'm going to show them today. So we got a couple of things. So starting Monday, you can get your Fruity Pebbles bars. They were in the Munchie of the Month box. We're going to also offer those as individuals for $10 each for the Fruity Pebbles bars. Those are going to start on Monday for Father's Day. We're going to run those next week for Father's Day. We have the Father's Day bundle, which is going to be the hot sauce, the cookie trio, and the pre-roll. And then we also have 2 Father's Day cookie specials next week. We have 2 new cookies we're bringing in next week. Somebody's commenting. I'm trying to see. So excited. Okay, wait till you see this next one. When I show y'all this next one, the internet's going to explode. So we've got 2 new cookies that I've not done before. We're going to be doing 2 new cookies next week. They're going to be available in 3 packs and 6 packs. 3 packs and 6 packs. And that's going to be a white chocolate macadamia nut and an oatmeal raisin cookie. We're going to have those because those are Dad's special favorite cookies. So we're going to run those cookies next week as a special. So the Fruity Pebbles bars, the white chocolate macadamia nut, the oatmeal raisin, and the Father's Day special. So we're going to run those next week on special. I wanted to let y'all have a little cue onto that. So we do have lots of fun stuff coming, but Hometown Hippie is is so much more than that, right? We are so much more than that. We are the Grateful Fed community, right? We are the community that comes together. We're going to plant some community gardens. We are going to do fun events. We are going to do our meditations. We are going to do all of the things that we can do, right? We're going to do our best. And that's what we're going to do our best. We're going to be impeccable with our word. We are going to do and leave this plan a little bit better than we found it. Walking out of work now won't be commenting while driving, but it will be listening. Okay, cool. And you're on your way over here. I will get your cart ready for you. So yeah, so we've got so much on the agenda. And one of the big things is getting into our new space. So we're going to hold space of getting us onto our property. We are meeting with a gentleman on Sunday morning at 8 a.m. about getting the property cleared and getting the driveway put in and the spots ready to go for building. So we'll have a couple people talk to about that. I'm hoping this guy Sunday is the one. We kind of feel like it might be. And then once he gets his part done, then it'll be well and septic, and then it'll be building materials, and Red will be over there building the building. He says we might be able to do it by January. I'm saying July of next year. But I like how he thinks, right? I like how he thinks. Holding space like you did for me. Haven't got to the car yet. Oh, I love it. So I appreciate you, and you got in a little early too, Sarah.
I'm going to vote.
Okay, I love you. So we are moving on that. That's the first thing. The podcast, we're going to start that in July. We are going to beef up our culinary influence on TikTok. We're going to actually have days where I'm going to play in TikToks. I'm going to ask you all to do me a favor. If you are on TikTok or if you are on social media, if you're doing videos, I would love to see you posting in the Hometown Hippie group. The algorithm is kind of wonky in there right now. So if you can go in there and post, when you get your packages, I love to see you open up your boxes and show them how it looks with pretty when you get it with the new, like what's in your box stuff. That's getting beefed up as we go. There's some new packaging. So make sure that you're leaving your stuff in the group. Please do that for me. I would love it if you can duet me or stitch me on TikTok. That would be great. If you want to do like a fun, testimonial about, hey, I got my new treats in today, and just call it Magic and Love. I would love to see those on TikTok. Make sure you hashtag it and you at me at Hometown Hippie 420. Yes, I'm so excited. You'll be there before July 4th. He says January. He says we'll be there about after Christmas. I'm saying summer, but he's saying Christmas. I'm ready for Christmas. That's okay. So we're moving on that. So if y'all can help me out with all of those kind of like little things, because people hear it from me. I want them to hear it from you, right? Y'all are my very best advertisement. Like there's no amount of money I can spend on advertisement that is worth one person telling your personal story. If you can go on there and post we might do something tomorrow about like Feel Good Friday, tell us your Hometown Hippie Grateful Fed story, introduce yourself. Let's get to know each other. Let's do that tomorrow. Let's do that. Let's get to Family Friday and let's get to know each other. Tomorrow we'll do a little Storyteller Friday, something fun. And yeah, let's do that. We are in the summer of love, the power of one summer. It's all about going out, making a difference for one other person. And here's the thing, right? And here's why I think that the Hometown Hippie is the perfect conduit for that message. Let me ask you a question, right? You never see a pothead all by themselves, looking all lonely, right? We are the most friendly people there ever was, right? So when you're on vacation, do you smoke? Yeah. So you can have that conversation, right? That's how you meet those people. Oh, you ever had an edible before? And it's that, it's easy. It's fun. It's I don't know, want to have a beer. That should be just as normal, in my opinion. And we're legal in Virginia now. A lot of states are. A lot of us have friends that we know of. And it's all about the power of one and going out and saying, hey, we have this really great group. We are a group of hippies. We come together. We're going to connect the world just one hometown at a time, one person at a time, one little sweet treat at a time. We're going to teach you some stuff. We're going to start doing some grow videos We are going to start doing some cooking videos. Those things are coming. We have affiliates. We're doing the podcast. I'm going to have some of those people on the podcast. How the cookie crumbles. Like, let's talk about growing, and we're going to do it with our grow person, and they're going to be high with us. And it's going to be fun. So there's lots and lots of things on the horizon. And here's the thing, y'all are all here. Everyone watching me right here. There's 4 of y'all watching, right? All of y'all here are like, y'all are gonna be like, hey, we're part of this. Like, you're gonna be. It's not me, it's us, right? It's us. And God has shown, like, I have seen what we are gonna do. I have seen the notoriety. I have seen the enormity of it. Okay, when I tell you those attunements were off the charts, I'm letting you know every single one of you on here are going to be blessed by this. And you know it and you feel it. I think that you know it and you feel it, right? Because it's true. We are all in this soul family together for a reason. I'm making my mess my message. And every single one of my little hot mess buddies watching me, each and every one of you, you are going to go out and you're going to be a light, and somebody's going to need your story to heal. And that's what came in, right? It was, and when I realized it's not, my story doesn't resonate with everybody, but everybody that comes, that gathers here, right? Everyone that gathers here has a story. And that's how we go. That's what the power of one is all about. And that's what tomorrow is going to be about. It's going to be about make your mess your message Friday and tell your story. And the people who are going to resonate, who are going to need to hear your story, to know that they are supported here. I feel like we've got a lot of new people, and that we need to let them know it's a safe space. And I'm not saying tell all your business. I'm saying that anything you feel called to share, that you feel that somebody could benefit from. And if you don't feel like you can do that yet, I understand it. But if you can, even if you're like, hey, I'm a mom, I use cannabis for stress and anxiety and depression, and anybody who's a mom and wants to like hang out or talk or whatever, because that's what the power of the summer of love and the power of one is about, right? It is about doing what we say we know we need to. It is this summer is about like putting one foot in front of the other. It is about practicing what we preach. It is about doing the things we know we need to do. And through that, it's going to make us stronger and brighter lights, and it's going to help the collective vibration. And that's just my opinion. I love that. Oh, I love it. I have 4 grown daughters. 2 partake, 2 do not. Yep. Products and let us know what you get. Tell people she knows that would like edibles to give you a try. I love that. It's, and it's a lot about the fact that a lot of people, how many of you when you first got here were a little afraid of the edibles, right? Because there's people in here who are here for the message and the mess. They are not here for the edibles. The edibles, I feel like, are a good conduit to help you like slow things down and to put things in perspective. Like, I'm going to tell y'all what, like, when my day is real big and like people are like, well, you're just doing drugs. And I'm like, I'm not doing drugs. Because in the past, when my day was too big and I went to the doctor and I was having like panicky feelings, like real can't get your breath, talking a mile a minute, feeling real like I get it, like all hectic, like just saying I'll do it, and like just how am I going to do it. And the doctor would give me antidepressant and a muscle relaxer and a sedative. I mean, I was on Trazodone, Klonopin, and diazepam. Valium, Klonopin, and Trazodone. He gave me 30 milligrams a day of Valium. Like he gave me 3 tens a day. I had 90 10 milligram Valium that he gave me every month. He gave 6 months supply of. I had 30. I mean, I was like on Valium on the regular. Like, me and Valium were real good friends. And I was still panicky and smoking pot. And then I was like, I don't sleep. And he was like, well, here's 100 milligram of Trazodone. And then I might have felt sad. And here's a milligram of Klonopin. Take this at bedtime with your 100 milligrams of Trazodone. And I'm like, and I'm going to sleep till 4 a.m. Then I'll sleep from 4 to 8. Then I'm late to work. And then I'm in trouble at work because I'm late to work and I'm depressed and it starts over again. Right? And whenever I realized that that stuff just had all this energy stuck and I wasn't addressing, right, what the real reason for the panic was, what the real reason for, that's what people don't get, right? It's not that pot cured it. It's not that I was like, okay, well, I was sad and I smoked pot. I'm not sad anymore. I mean, that happens, but when you get done, you are. But what it allowed me to do, right, was to get rid of all that cloudiness, feel my feelings for the first time in a really long time. And then we did the work to figure out what the underlying thing was. I did the affirmations and the journaling, right? And the meditations to like see the reason and the trauma as a child, that why I'm doing what I'm doing. And realizing that, you know, when you're 2 years old and you get a baby sister and all of a sudden um, you know, all of your praise comes from, you're a good big sister, you did good getting mommy a diaper, you did good getting mommy a bottle, you did good taking the trash, you did good cleaning up your room. All of my positive affirmations after my sister came, and it's normal as probably the oldest child. That's why a lot of oldest daughters have this kind of modality. It's that we gained our sense of self-worth from our sense of what we could be of service doing. And so that's a behavior I had to unlearn. I had to learn that I am valuable if I'm just sitting on my recliner doing jack shit. That doesn't make me busy, does not make me good. And so that's what I'm talking about when like I say like pot doesn't cure it. Pot allows me to meditate and slow my brain down to figure out the reason why. And that's what I'm offering here, right? That's what I'm offering through these meditations, the Woo Woo 101 retreats, is not that pot is going to cure your world. It helps. It helps slow you down enough. And here's what it did for me, right? It helped to slow things down enough that I took the time and I allowed myself time to meditate, time to see it, and time, and it gave me enough clarity to not grip onto it, right? Because when you're a little high, like I feel like for me, everything's just a little bit like humorous. So I'm like, oh, that's why I'm like I am, right? So that's how I utilize it. And that's kind of the modality in which I feel like my energy work is coming through. So when I was talking on the Zoom last night about how my modalities, I was dancing around, like putting energy into things, like all of the packages that got packed. Watermelon Sugar was playing on the radio and I was packing packages and I was like throwing energy balls like watermelon sugar, huh? I was like throwing light balls all around. So I feel like that is where it's all coming in, like all the puzzle pieces are fitting. It's that the more I try to like ask to be like this serious, um, you know, I'm like, help me be a clear and perfect channel. I don't want to be full of nonsense, like, you know what I mean? And I told them last night on the Zoom, I'm gonna tell you all this, you're gonna laugh at me. When I was doing that dance, I was realizing, I was like, okay, my Reiki guide they needed to trade them in. Like mine has no sense apparently. Because I told them, I was like, during that meditation, I felt like it was mom's energy. My mother's energy was like my Reiki guide. And I was like, but it didn't, it was just a light energy. I didn't see anything. I just felt the light energy. And it was like this all encompassing, like a mother's love. And that's how I felt. So I'm like, this is my mom, because it's the only person that's ever made me feel like I felt mother's love. Can I get some thumbs up if y'all know what I'm talking about? Like mom's love, like you could feel it. And my mom was a nut. I mean, my mom could embarrass me. Like she just did some nonsensical things. Like she was just funny. Like just didn't give a shit. Like she's the adult in Walmart where like if it could sing and dance, she's punching the button and like dancing with it, like wearing crazy hats, shit that I do. And like I was like, the older I get, the more like my mom I am. And so the harder I have been trying to say, you know, I'm becoming enlightened and I'm going to be more serious and I'm going to be more rigid. You know, I was like really trying to like limit source again and tell them like what I thought, like someone who could be respected in like a healing kind of way, like what I imagine that person to look like. And I'm like, I don't feel like I fit that mold. So I have imposter syndrome because I'm kind of like, woo. And so the other day I was like in there, I was like, I was just in my groove and I was feeling so good and in flow. And I'm like, nobody's gonna come let me give them like dance Reiki. I'm like, but maybe that's my modality. I don't know. Because I was like, watermelon sugar. I was like, wow. I was like, I felt like I was throwing energy all around. And I'm like, this my Reiki guy's like, that's right, get some. And I was like, I'm trying to have like a dance contest. And I'm like, okay, I needed a more you cannot pair me with a Reiki guy that's like, I dare you, because I will take the dare. So I'm realizing that maybe, and Carly to the day, that I need to listen to my soul versus stop going to your guides to ask them to tell you what to do, and go to your soul and like listen to your soul or your higher self, because you've got to answer your own questions. So I'm just wondering if that pound cake just helped me realize that I'm going to be me. And it's okay. I always feel like I get on people's nerves when I get like this. This is when I get real self-conscious. But it's also when I do some of my best work, right? So anyway, it is 4:20 somewhere. It is now 5:15 somewhere. I've got someone coming to the house because she just told me she's not commenting, but she's driving. And I have this cake that I'm hoping I'm going to go check and see how it's looking, because it's the second one. It's number two, number deuce, number two, and I ain't messing this one up. Because if I mess this one up, then I am losing money on this cake. I've already broken even, but I got one to eat, so I'm good. No, we love you every way you are. No, you don't. That's the thing, right? And that's what I think has always been my special power. And the more that I try to make it something else, it's that it's really makes you. It's weird to like, I am funny. Like, I am funny. I know that. And because I enjoy laughing. Laughing is my most favorite thing to do. And so whenever I do all of this and I eat a little piece of cake, I lean into it and I don't try to stop myself. I don't try to like be more. I don't try to like control. I just lean in and I'm just me. And that's why that's why I gotta start listening to my soul and stop trying to be something I'm not. I say that my food is authentic as I am, then I just lean into it, right? And just be this goofy ass thing that I am. It's okay though. I've always been about half cocked, is what my dad would say. But I do need to go check this cake because again, they say third time's a charm, but I'm gonna do it. I'm giving it a second time. I got it. Thank y'all. I love y'all, and that's the thing. It's like it's. Carly said there's like Timmy. I was like, yes, I know. I am the brand. I am the brand too, and I get that. And I'm excited for the podcasting and all that kind of stuff because I don't know. I feel like that's where I can like really go over there and like think about and like just be goofy and see how it goes. Like that's where Source is like, you got to do that because I feel like that's where something's going to happen from that. So I need y'all to like help me with the podcast and get it out there for me whenever we get it going. I got the equipment coming. We're not going to do it until I get the equipment. I'm going to practice with it. I am going to have some outlines of, I mean, not really. I'm going to have people on who have like certain interest, and we're going to have like a topic of me and that something that we're going to talk about. And we're going to start with eating the edible, and then we're just going to have a conversation and see how it goes. So like we're gonna just go from there, right? And then if you want to smoke or whatever you do, maybe you want to talk about like your story. Maybe you want to talk about a hobby or something you do. Like I'm gonna have the people on that grow. Okay, come on. Whatever it may be. And maybe we could even be like, we could go podcast from somewhere. I don't know. That'd be cool. Like maybe I could do a podcast live from beyond the plan or something. I don't know. Like I don't know. We could talk to people like, "Hi, we're podcasting here live from." Can you live? We can do it on like YouTube too. I don't know. Like that's what's got to happen. Like it's got to move into the podcasting, into YouTube, and all that stuff. And I will need y'all's help. Yes, I will need y'all's help. So let me know. Maybe we should go live from restaurants. We should go like we're having cookie crumbles today. We're gonna be like Foodie Friday. Let's get high and eat somewhere. That's okay. You're always welcome to walk in my house like you own the place. Come say hi to everybody on. Look, she's not only a watcher, she's also a guest. One second. On that note, I'm gonna go get Sarah a piece of this pound cake to take home with her, because being local does have its privileges, and we're gonna get it done. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. That would be funny. Like I'll go get the munchies somewhere and be like, all right, what are we gonna order with the munchies? Oh my god, that's a great idea. All right, we're gonna get this going. We're gonna do this a TV show. Melanie said hi, Sarah. Get you a little piece of that cake, girl. Seriously, like pick them crumbs off the top. It is so good. It is really good. Like it is a 7 flavor pound cake. It has coconut, rum, lime, almond, vanilla, and butter. It is off the charts delicious. But on that note, as always, what do we say? Peace, love, and feast. And don't forget to stay elevated. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later.